Hello and welcome to From the South, teleSur's daily news show. We start off as always in Latin America. On Monday, millions of Mexicans paid homage to the country's most revered Catholic figure, the Virgin of Guadalupe. The Catholic faithful carried banners, elaborate flower wreaths, and statues of the Virgin. Many even camped out the night before. The Virgin of Guadalupe is said to have appeared to a peasant in 1531 on a hilltop, which had once been a shrine to an ancient Aztec goddess. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has signed an emergency monetary decree ordering that the country's largest note, the 100 Bolivar bill, be taken out of circulation within the next 3 days. Maduro hopes this can thwart mafias he is accused of hoarding billions in cash in Colombia. OPEC and non-OPEC producers like Mexico and Bolivia have reached their first deal since 2001 to jointly curtail oil output. Producers from outside the 13-country OPEC group have agreed to reduce output by over 550,000 barrels per day. This is short of the initial target of 600,000 barrels per day, but still the largest cutback by non-OPEC countries ever. The agreed non-OPEC output reduction includes Russia's cut of 300,000 barrels per day. Members hope the deal will reduce supply enough to push prices back up. In Paraguay, authorities have arrested several men whom they believe were involved with a drug trafficking ring linked to Mexico's notorious Sinaloa cartel. Some 308 kilos of drugs were confiscated in a home in the city of Villa Elisa. A Paraguayan taxi driver was arrested in the exercise. He claimed that he had been changing money for the group when the authorities entered. In international news, the Syrian army has recaptured a major district of Aleppo, leaving rebel fighters cornered in a small pocket of the city. According to a Syrian military official in Aleppo, the operation is entering its final phase in the eastern neighborhoods. Residents have poured out of rebel-held neighborhoods as the army advanced since beginning its operations on November 15th. China has expressed concern after U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has said the United States did not necessarily have to stick to its long-held stance that Taiwan is part of one China. Trump made the comments during an interview on Fox News Sunday, where he questioned nearly 4 decades of U.S. policy. Turkish authorities have detained 235 people with alleged links to Kurdish militants in the wake of Saturday's deadly bombing outside an Istanbul soccer stadium. The blast killed 44 people and wounded some 150 others. An offshoot of the Kurdistan Workers' Party, also known as the PKK, claimed responsibility for the blasts. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said that a suicide bomber carried out an attack that killed 24 people at Cairo's main cathedral during a state funeral for the victims. Sisi added that security forces had arrested 3 men and a woman in connection with the bomb. French police have arrested 11 people suspected of helping to arm the Islamist radical who crushed 86 people to death with a truck in Nice. Sources close to the investigation say 10 suspects, including 1 or more Albanians, were arrested in various parts of Nice. Another person was detained in the western city of Nantes. 2 girls, thought to be only 7 or 8 years old, conducted a double suicide attack in a northeastern Nigerian market on Sunday. 1 person was killed and 18 others were wounded. The attack was not immediately claimed by Boko Haram, but bore the hallmarks of the militant group which often uses women or girls in such operations.
The Palestinian Amal Coalition to Combat Violence Against Women organized a gathering at the Rashad al-Shawa Culture Center Monday in Western Gaza City against gender-based violence. The event was organized in cooperation with the Palestine Culture and Free Thought and marked the end of the 16 days of global actions against gender-based violence. Nearly a quarter of ever-married women in Palestine report that they have been exposed to physical abuse as well as psychological and sexual violence. 25 November is the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, on which the UN annually launches a 16-day campaign with activities confronting violence against women around the world. This year, the International Day came in Palestine amid continued Israeli violence against Palestinian girls and women.
By the end of the 16-day campaign to combat violence against women, we were keen to organize an official festival to mark the event, at least to speak about violence against women in the Palestinian society and the persistence of our coalition to combat this violence.
The Palestinian Center for Human Rights, PCHR, has highlighted the hardships endured by the Palestinian women because of the Israeli occupation. According to the group, hundreds of Palestinian families lost their homes during 3 Israeli offensives on Gaza in recent years. In 2016 alone, Israeli forces killed 7 women in the West Bank and 1 in the Gaza Strip. The group has also documented dozens of cases in which Palestinian women were killed in on ground of revenge attacks, honor killings, carried out by family members against women suspected of immoral sexual conduct. Noor Harazin, teleSUR TV, Gaza.
And that's all for From the South. For more on these and other stories, you can visit our website, telesurtv.net/English.